Hello, dear writers. It's Chris here, back for another tarot/oracle, mostly oracle for writers reading. I have been gone for a long time. Sorry about that. I have been mostly working on videos for my other channel, link in the description box, which has writing prompts for you in the form of short videos, with then how to approach them in the description box, and which can also be used for short little meditations if you're having a tough day and you just need a breather for a second. And also my new Journal with Me series that I'm doing. We just crossed the 2-month mark, so there are 8 videos there, and I'll be posting the 9th one tomorrow. They are about 10 minutes of writing, and we look at various cards from my decks and use them as writing prompts and a little bit of a reading. So before I begin, I wanted to light a candle, a Reiki candle that I pick up at these several wonderful stores around me. I'm very lucky to have about 3 or 4 stores to find all kinds of metaphysical goodies in. And this candle is a lovely bright yellow, and it's for positive energy. And the affirmation that goes with it is, I am a conduit for universal energy, allowing me to do good things. May this pure and positive force guide my every thought and action. So let me light that. I am doing this in the window because it was 96 degrees, but then we just had a quick thunderstorm, which I hope comes back because summer thunderstorms are the best. And there's a nice breeze, and I thought I would open the window and have some green. And hopefully nobody does anything really loud while the window's open. People are unpredictable, so you never know. So I have a new deck, which, if you're following my other channel, is a sickness with me. It's not a sickness, really. It's an addiction. A good addiction, but I need to cut myself off after this deck for a while. I just purchased the very popular Work Your Light Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell, with the artwork of Danielle, Noel, which is a fantastic name. And initially when I saw this deck, I was really put off by how super powdery pastel it looks. But it kept coming up in my suggestions at Amazon, and I stumbled upon an unboxing video for it. And while I was watching this person unpack the deck, and she was very emotional about it. Maybe that contributed to what happened for me, but I suddenly had to have this deck. I absolutely had to have it. And I saw it in a store a week ago, and I didn't buy it, and it haunted me the entire week. And I don't know why I didn't buy it then, but I called this morning and said, is it still there? And they said yes. So I went over to pick it up, because sometimes they have these in Barnes & Noble and stuff, but they didn't have them anywhere within 25 miles of me. And I looked at the cards, and except for a couple of them that everyone else has already talked about online, I don't know what it is about these cards. Don't know. It's this mixture of collage, and it's probably done digitally, but the colors, I don't know. I'm not even going to try. Just really am attracted to them. And here's the back. It's roses and sort of got like a prismatic kind of kaleidoscope effect on the card. And inside the box it says, you are the oracle, which I think is awesome. So let's shuffle and pull some cards. I am standing up, so that happened quickly. So let me just do this. gave these a really good shuffle since they're a new deck. And they're a good size. They fit well in your hand. Usually the question that I ask is, what do writers need to know? And writers, if you're new to my channel, means everyone. Well, we got 2 more, so we're all set. Songwriters, screenwriters, fiction, nonfiction, poetry. Oh, I don't think we're going to be able to see all 3 of these, so we'll just do them like this. So take your moment and pick which card you're interested in. 1, 2, or 3, or left, right, center, if that helps you think of them in a different way. I find picking cards a little difficult. I always gravitate toward one number, and I never know if that's because I should or because it's just sort of an important number to me. I don't know, but so there you go. Let's start with the center. So this one is Inner Temple, and it says devotion, tune in to the portal of your heart. And here's the image. Take a look at that for a moment. Let's see what the book says. And these are not in any order. So give me a second while I look, because the suits, that's the one thing that's a little tricky, is the suits are not clear. They're not differentiated in any way. And they're not numbered. So here's what the book says. You are being called to be a devoted student and tune into your heart, to incorporate true devotion into your life. You could be being called to develop a regular meditation, journaling, or chanting practice, or to show up to your soul with rhythm, to develop a daily practice where you fill up your well and spend time with your soul. All of the answers to all of the questions that you seek are waiting for you in the portal of your heart, but you cannot hear them unless you carve out time each day to listen. Your soul is yearning for a deeper relationship with you, and so the more time you spend with it and show up to it, the more clearly it will guide you. You are being called to go deeper into your soul growth or to increase your devotion by being a student or a spiritual teacher. Now, you can leave off the spiritual part for this unless you feel comfortable with that, or if you are writing things that have a spiritual bent, just think of it as sort of a student of life in general. If you have already been a committed student, then you are being commended for your devotion. If you are questioning your career or life path, you should turn your focus toward devotion and this affirmation. Well, this is a bit about a prayer, so I'm not going to say that because I don't want people who are not religious to feel that we're moving into that territory. We're not in this book, but I don't want to leave that with anyone feeling sort of turned off by that. So the action here is to commit to a daily practice. Now, I don't believe in a daily writing practice. I also don't believe in just letting things slide. So what I do believe in is you determining the best practice for you and what that looks like. I have long been a weekend novelist, and I've mentioned before that there is a book by that name and a follow-up, weekend, I think it's like Weekend Editor or something like that, for revising your work. So don't feel like you have to, this is telling you that you have to do this. What I'm seeing this as is, I'm wondering if those of you who chose this card have been treating your writing like a job. And I know there are people that advocate for that, and I don't. I think it's a delicate balance of discipline and inspiration and creativity. And yes, there's that phrase, 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. Yes, that is true. I don't necessarily believe that it's 1%. I think it's in proportion to how open you are and how much you show up. and you need to determine what that looks like for you. And for some of you, it could be 50-50 or not. It will definitely not be 99% inspiration, 1% perspiration. Those moments happen maybe once or twice a year if you're lucky, and the rest of the time, you're really working for it. But for me, this calls me to talk about, are you feeling the well? Are you feeling inspired by your work even when it's not going well? Are you still happy with it, or is it starting to feel like a grind and you're showing up but you're really not, your heart's not in it, and you're not inspired by what you're writing, and you've lost sight of why you're writing it, and you're trying to find the way back to why you got excited about it in the first place and why you were committed to the project, but now you just feel like there's no spark there anymore. And so, again, I think it's that you need to find your balance. Look how beautifully balanced this card is. Both halves and are exactly the same, leading to this portal, this doorway, and into the light. And that looks like, and is, if you look very closely at it, a kind of galaxy beyond that. So and follow your North Star sort of came in here to this for me. So what can you do to fill the well? What can you do to inspire your writing? Are you doing enough reading? Are you going to plays? Are you going to art things like museums or galleries or dance events or festivals? Or if you're into food, are you maybe taking a cooking class or watching cooking shows and trying something new? Are you taking a class in general? Maybe take an art class or some continuing ed class in a language, or I don't know, belly dancing. Just go out of your comfort zone and do something that brings you joy and opens you up and lights you up. That's the point. It needs to open you up and light you up, and that will create more of this portal that you see in this card for you to expand into your project and for your project to expand as well. So also in doing this, you will find your own rhythm, and that's also what's coming through. Find your own rhythm. As with following another practice that you've found online or trying other people's ways of doing things, if you're forcing yourself into someone else's idea of a writing practice or a book or writing style or voice or whatever, or even a genre, maybe you're not really writing what you want to write, it's going to be stale for you. It's not going to be exciting. You have to do what's right for you. You have to find your own rhythm. So if you have, this is a Saturday, hopefully I'll be able to post this later. So if this is the weekend for you when you're watching this, tomorrow, Sunday, or whatever weekend that's coming up for you when you watch this, plan some kind of art activity. Now, you can certainly follow The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron if you like and do an artist day or whatever. That's fine. It's up to you. But go do something. Go drive out of your city. Well, do something in your city if that's more convenient and cheaper. Often there are museums around that are free. So that's nice if you can find that. Go to a concert in the park. Go walk around a cool neighborhood and look at the architecture and take pictures, or go on a sort of a walk where you're collecting things like flowers and rocks and other things. You can do that in the woods too, and just tell yourself you're going to take a bunch of pictures and then use those pictures as writing prompts or meditations or whatever inspires you, and just find something that's fun for you to do. Sign up for a class. Just go to a festival. It's summer. There should be some festival. I know that in Baltimore there seem to be festivals every 5 minutes. So we get a little festival fatigue around here, but there's always something. You can always find something. And if you don't know where to find this stuff, your city or state website should have information. Your tourism office for your city or your state will have that information. So, balance, inspiration, filling the well, and finding your own rhythm are what this card is all about. So let's move on to the left side card, number 3. And that was number 2, I'm sorry. I just went with the center. And I had to close the window, I'm sorry, because somebody decided to sit outside in their car with the door open and the radio on, which I will never understand in a million years why people do that. So this card is boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Well, I just did that. I shut my window. So in this card is an excellent visual for establishing boundaries. This woman in the center, everyone's reaching out to grab her, and she's putting her arms out to say, stop. No, this is a boundary around me. She's owning her space. So let me look for boundaries, see what the deck says, and then I'll tell you what I think. And again, I have to look for these because it's not intuitive, and hopefully I might write what these cards are on the side of the page so I can find them easily. You are being called to create clearer boundaries in your life. This could be with your friends, family, or work. Saying yes when you really mean no leads to resentment, which is the biggest energy drain ever. At first, it might only be a little bit and not feel like a big deal, but before you know it, your energy field becomes porous and you are left feeling depleted, resentful, or taken advantage of. Saying no and having clear boundaries is actually a spiritual act. And again, you can substitute spiritual with whatever you like. You could say creative act because it's in service to your creativity. The most loving, giving, compassionate people are those with the clearest boundaries. For when they say yes, they are able to give unconditionally. When your boundaries are clear, others know where they stand and you are able to give freely. If you are not clear about where your boundaries lie, this causes confusion, resentment, and energetic cords to be planted. If you are saying yes when you really mean no, you are likely needing something yourself. Ask yourself, what part of me needs something from them? It could be a need for approval, a fear of being seen a certain way, or a fear of loss. And by the way, when this book is saying that, what you need from them, it doesn't necessarily have to be that person and what they can specifically give you. The best way to gauge your boundaries is to check in with your intuition, your gut. Your gut is the second brain. It has an intelligence known as your gut feelings. Tune into this space when deciding what is okay for you. How does it feel? What is it trying to communicate with you? So again, this card is, where in your life do you need to establish better boundaries? And this is something that you can journal on as well if you like, if you're not clear. But I think we can all come up with something that popped into our heads when we saw this card and learned what it's about. I think it's pretty clear what this card means, and that is you need to focus on your writing. You are letting other things get in the way, maybe not completely, but you're feeling a sense of constriction and frustration because of other commitments and from other people. And even if you have children, or you're taking care of older parents, or you and your partner are going through a difficult time, and you're being pulled or drained, your emotions are being pulled or drained, and your psychic energy and your mind, and it's all sort of swirling around, and it's hard to settle down enough to write, and it's physically draining you because of that. You know, when something intense is going on, it's hard to focus, and it is physically draining and exhausting, trying to seem normal and keep it together and do all the normal things every day when you're experiencing a lot of upheaval. You can still find some time and a place to write. You know, if you're working, you can use your lunch hour. I have a video on my other channel about writing in your car at lunchtime. And if you can't do that at your place of work, drive the car to a park or some parking lot somewhere. Maybe not a school parking lot, because security might wonder why there's a car with someone sitting in it in the parking lot. You know, be safe and think logically. But, you know, it's a shopping mall parking lot, and you park way in the back somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed by people coming and going. And you just write for half an hour, whether it's journaling or you work on something else, it doesn't matter. But every little bit helps. And you may also be getting in your way. You know, this card could be interpreted as a woman with her arms open as well, accepting and allowing everyone to come at her and take whatever they want from her. She's not defending herself. She's not pushing. She is, like I said, you can see this as pushing away, or you can see this as being too open and letting everybody grab what they need from her, but she's not getting what she needs from herself. So it doesn't mean you have to shut everyone out. It just means where in your life can you create more space, create more boundaries around yourself, own your own time more. Just pick one time, one thing you can do, like your lunch hour, to pull back and have time just for yourself. And, I know if you're going through a difficult time, if you have time for yourself, writing may not be the thing you want to do. You might want to go get a massage, or you might want to go sleep, or whatever, do whatever you need to do. But even if you just open your notebook and write lists or fragments of phrases or just words, that can be keeping things flowing for you. And just, go over to my other channel and do some of the journaling practices. They can easily be done in a lunch hour. And that will hopefully keep things open and flowing for you, so that you can you can tap into your creativity and the quote unquote well when you need it, when things settle down. But I find that, and this is true for me as well, a lot of what we're doing we don't have to do, and we can say no to other people, and we don't have to fill up our schedules, and we can sort of create a plan for when we have to run errands and do all these things, so that it doesn't suck up all our free time. And just do what you can to pick one way of making a change so that you can find time for your writing, is what this card is saying. Pretty clear, not difficult to understand at all. So let's go to card number 1, which was on the left. This card is Break the Chain, Ancestral Patterns, Healing, and Rewriting the Future. This is the image. That's really, really a compelling and amazing image. Let's look at these figures coming out of the cave. And this figure is wearing orange, which is the second chakra, the seat of creativity. And then up here, look at that sky. Magic, planets and colors, and there's lots of wind in this image as well. Okay, break the chain. So let's find it. These are action. This is an action card. You are being called to heal your family line or free yourself from living the life of your ancestors. This could mean letting go of an old pattern of your maternal or paternal line, healing trauma from the past that is not even yours, or observing old ways of being that no longer serve you. We carry emotional trauma in our luminous field for up to 7 generations back. This is why family patterns can be the hardest to break. Often, they are not even ours to begin with, but we do not know another way of being, and so we continue playing out the drama. The thing to notice when ancestral healing comes up is that you cannot heal another person, but your own healing can cause another person to choose to heal. Energy is freed up. You are being guided now to look at your life and decide how you want it to be. What ways of being or patterns are you ready to free yourself from? What part of your future do you want to rewrite? Now is the time to shake them off and dream a new future into being. What old ways of being from your family line are you ready to let go of? Seek assistance from your support team, tribe, friends, healer, coach, etc., to begin freeing yourself from it now. So I think the clearest thing that comes up for me is owning your story. Are you living a life that is someone else's story, the life they've already lived, the life your family expects you to live, the life your spouse, your partner expects you to live? Are you being yourself, or are you being who everyone else expects you to be? Did you make choices for a life that is not the life you really want? Do you want to be a writer, but you're not owning that? Or you're letting other people tell you that you're not good enough, or no one in your family is creative, so you feel like you can't be either, or if you try, you won't be any good. You'll just, you'll suck as a writer, and so why bother? Because nobody is creative in your family, and everyone will make fun of you, and you hear their voices in your head all the time, and you don't know how to separate yourself from that. So this is also pretty clear. And I see that this person is leaving behind, is walking out of that cave and leaving these figures behind, which are rather transparent in nature. They have a sort of translucent quality to them. They're not opaque, so they're already fading. And she's moving away from a dark and rocky, barren place into light and color and infinity and possibility. And there's movement and wind as well. So this is a simple message, but it's a complicated thing to do, is that you have to believe in what you want to do with your life and not let other people influence you or tell you what they expect of you. And I know if you are in a situation where you're younger and your parents are paying for college and they have an idea of what they want you to, who they want you to be, everyone in our family is a lawyer, or everyone in our family is a doctor, or whatever, and you don't want to do those things. So, or even if it's an artistic thing, everyone in our family is a musician, but you want to write. You don't want to do music, even if you're good at it. It's just not your passion, or whatever. At some point, you're going to have to own your life and own your story and what you want to do, because the things that your heart has to be in something for it to work. And you can still, for work for you, you can still do things that your heart isn't in and be very good at them and make a lot of money, but is that really what you want to do? In the end, it's probably not going to satisfy you, and you're going to use that money to retire early and do what you really want, or go back to school, or travel, or whatever you want to do, or pay to publish your own books, or whatever it is that you want to do. You'll find a way to do it. But why wait? Why not do this right now? Take some small step out of the cave and into, infinite space and possibility here, and take one step toward doing what you want to do. And start just saying, when people ask you, what do you do for a living, or what do you like to do? Maybe not for a living, because if you're not making money at it, they might not consider that doing it for a living. But, what do you like to do? Or when they ask who you are, you can say, I'm a writer. Just say it, I'm a writer, and own it, and find the time to honor and own what you want to do. You can also write out your best scenario in terms of being a writer. Write out a manifesto, if you will, or a sort of visualization of your life as a writer and what that looks like. And then read that to yourself every day or once a week or whatever. Put it in your wallet and pull it out, or your purse somewhere. Keep it by your bed and read it every day until you really believe it. And it's hard, I know, because there are people that didn't live the life they wanted, and they don't want anyone else to do it either, because it feels threatening and makes them realize the choices that they made that were wrong for them. But you don't have to make up for their choices. You don't have to make up for the choices they made and their unhappiness and their inability to have the life they wanted. That's on them. And if, you don't know, maybe your actions will inspire others. And if you're not ready for this, take a picture of this card, do a screenshot, and just hang on to it, and maybe use it as your wallpaper on your computer or your phone or whatever, and just keep looking at it and let it work its magic on you until you feel ready. So I'm going to leave it there for the Tarot/Oracle for Writers today. I wanted to squeeze one of these in and get back into this habit of doing these monthly, but I'm going to also be doing the Journal with Me video this weekend and posting it tomorrow, and I hope you'll go over to that channel and use that as an opportunity and a way to jumpstart your writing, or just keep the creative flow going, or just have some conversation, deep conversation with yourself. Thanks for watching, everyone, and happy writing.